I'm Lucy Fink, and this is 5 days of Halloween makeup. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Try Living with Lucie. If you haven't subscribed to Refinery29 on YouTube, please subscribe now. And if you're already subscribed, welcome back. This week, I'm going to show you 5 Halloween makeup looks. As you know, I am not a makeup artist at all. I am just following YouTube tutorials here and seeing how they come out. I'm starting off on Monday with this pop art look that I found on Promise Fawn's YouTube page. After tying my hair back and priming my face with e.l.f. Poreless Primer, I put on Makeup Forever foundation with my beauty blender. I started this look out with a Ben Nye palette. I used the black to line my eyebrows, and I laid it on very thick. Let's hope this comes off. I used the same black pot to draw lines on my nose, cheeks, and my eyelids. Next, I used the yellow Ben Nye color on my eyelids, but it wasn't quite as yellow as I wanted it to be, so I introduced the Mehron palette and just went all out on the eyelids with that on top of my liner. Something that I learned here is that you really need to draw these lines based on the shape of your own face. You cannot copy someone else's YouTube design for this shape. This is really based on your eyes and your eyes alone. Next, I used a Revlon liquid liner to make a wing on the side of each eye. And then I lined my lower lids and added these little extra lash lines on the bottom. I put on cherry red lipstick to finish it off. Then outlined my lips in black with my trusted liquid eyeliner. I even filled color around my nose with the black liner, but the thing that really made this look pop was adding a bit of white Ben Nye makeup to my lips. Lastly, I outlined my jawline. Wigs really change everything, especially on Halloween, and I had to cut the bangs a bit on this wig because they were a little too long, but once it was done, I felt like this look really came together. I didn't look exactly like Promise, but I felt like I made this look my own, and then when I was done, I took to the streets of New York to see what people thought of me. It is very tough living in this city. There is so much craziness happening around us at all times that people don't even turn for a second glance when they see a girl on the street in pop art makeup. Hi. At the end of the day though, I love this look and I was really happy with the way it came out. On day 2, I wanted to do something a little bit creepier, so I went for a half skull, half Lucy look. Don't we look like sisters? For this look, I followed YouTuber Roxsaurus's tutorial. I started out by priming my full face with e.l.f. and then using Makeup Forever foundation on only half of my face, the Lucy half. I used the ColorPop blush bronzer palette to add some color, and one of the earthy tones from the Pinky Rose eyeshadow palette onto one eyelid. I made it a little smokier with a black color, and then used my Revlon liquid liner to make the line more defined. And I followed it up with mascara. Next, I added a red Maybelline matte lipstick to half of my lips, and just like that, I was halfway done with the look. But now's when it gets hard. On the other side of my face, I applied non-toxic white face paint. I slathered it all over with a brush, and then to get into the crevices, I used a wedge. At the very end, I added the Ben Nye white color just to fill in some areas that were not fully filled in yet. Next, I outlined all of the areas that I wanted to be black with my Revlon liquid eyeliner, and I used black face paint to fill them in. In the YouTube video I was following, Roxy outlines her face in brown ahead of time. I just decided it was easier for me to freehand it with the black paint and the liquid liner. I added those black accents to my nose, and then I took my liquid liner and I drew a long skinny line from my lip towards my ear, and then drew even smaller lines branching off of those, and blended them out with my finger. I added a black face paint line from my hairline to the top of my teeth as a sort of hollowed out jaw look, and then I used the Pinky Rose black color to add some shadow to the teeth. It wasn't until I used my NYX Jumbo White pencil and I made my teeth look a little whiter that I felt the look really came together, and I touched up the look by just adding one more layer of white Ben Nye around my face. I didn't use the same face paint as Roxy, and I'm gonna be honest, mine felt like it was chipping off a little bit, but when I really looked at it, I felt like that added to the look. It looked really scary and very detailed. I was proud. Happy Halloween! So yesterday I stepped into the dark side, so for this look, I really wanted to find the light and be a unicorn. For this look, I followed YouTuber Charisma Star's unicorn makeup tutorial, and I started out with my purple wig on my head. After priming with e.l.f. and applying Makeup Forever foundation with my beauty blender, I applied NYX shimmery eyeshadow in Frostbite to the inner corners of my eye and along my brow bone. Then I used Urban Decay in Woodstock to fill in my eyelids pink. And I took the purple color from my Mehron palette, lined the top of my eyelids, and blended them together. I added some more highlight to my brow bone, and then used the Urban Decay to drag that pink from my eyelids up towards my hairline. Using my finger, I highlighted my nose, and then I contoured both sides and the base with pink eyeshadow. I pulled out my heavy-duty Mehron palette for more color options here, and starting with light blue, I added some more stripes in all different colors of the rainbow to the side of my face. Slowly I moved from my cheeks around up my forehead, and I blended them together along the way. Next, I brought in my favorite product of all, the Wet n Wild Rainbow Highlighter. To make my eyes really pop, I lined my lower and upper lids with the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk. I even lined the waterline. And then I outlined the white with the Mehron purple shadow, and then I painted my eyebrows purple. I added a bit more blush to my cheeks and down my neck on both sides, and then I used my liquid liner and mascara before finishing my eyes off with falsies. What really brought this look together was adding NYX white liquid liner dots all around my eyes. Then I stuck rhinestones around my brows, added a rainbow sticker to my cheek, and put Violet Voss Golden Fairy glitter all over my face. I finished my lips with my favorite Kylie lip kit in Coco K. I put on some Stay Matte liquid lip color in Hot Pink just for that extra pop. And then the last and final glow up was adding MAC pigment to my lips. I took my hair down, added a sparkly unicorn horn, and voila, I was a unicorn. I feel like I kind of looked like Katy Perry here because of the eyes. What do you guys think of this look? Comment below. Today I let my inner Catwoman come out and play. I followed YouTuber Melly Sanchez's Glam Cat tutorial and started out with a fully primed face and foundation already done. I began with a Makeup Forever contouring palette. I used the chocolate brown color to draw lines by my cheekbones, along my jaw, on my forehead, and down my nose. Then I used a fluffy brush to blend it all in. Next, I took a pencil highlighter that I just had in my makeup bag, and I went to town highlighting all of the essential areas. I shaded my eyebrows in with a Brow Power pencil in dark brown. I set all of that makeup on my face with Laura Mercier's translucent setting powder. Then I used a pinky rose brown shade to make a cat eye from my crease to my eyebrows. I added black powder on top of this line and then blended it all out. Next, it was time for me to do the cat eye, and here's where I diverged from the tutorial that I was watching. I decided to just add the black line to the outside corner of my eye and the inside corner of my eye. I was looking very pale at this point, so I added ColorPop's bronzing powder all over my face. I used gold between the black lines. But I didn't feel like it was enough of that golden shine that I wanted, so I added a layer on top of this using the Color Tattoo 24-hour Bold Gold eyeshadow pot, and it was so gorgeous. I added Revlon's gold eye art to give it a bit more shimmer and shine. and then took the Inglot Black Pot and lined my lower lids. I felt as if the liner looked a bit like a black swan mask, so I connected the two lines to complete the cat eye, and I filled in some more gold in the middle. I added eyeliner lashes, used a Rimmel London blush for some color, and then drew on my cat nose with the black liner. Using my Revlon liner, I drew a line from my nose to my upper lip, and I colored my upper lip black. Next, I added freckles and whiskers on both sides. I finished my lips with Kylie Lip Kit in Cocoa K, and I put Violet Voss gold glitter on top of that. I felt like this look was pretty hard because, as I mentioned at the beginning, I am not a makeup artist, and much of this look was just doing good makeup. By the end, I was feeling very feline. Rare. Meow.
Alright, getting down.
It's my last day of Halloween makeup, so I'm going with a look that's very fun, a mermaid. Today I'm following Monica Rose MUA's mermaid tutorial because she really nailed the scales and her technique is absolutely flawless. I started with Urban Decay eyeshadow in Woodstock. It is such a great pink color. Next, I blended in some purple eyeshadow from the Mehron palette. And I dabbed on Inglot Shimmering Shadow in light blue on top of my lids. I finished off this shadow look by blending some more purple into the crease to make all of the colors pop. I lined my eyelids with a NYX white eyeliner pencil and added a little wing to the side of each. Then I finished off the look with some MAC pigment. Moving on to foundation, I put Makeup Forever all over my face, followed by some Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. I topped it all off with some Laura Mercier translucent powder and sprayed on a Super Goop setting mist. Next, it was time for the most fun part of this look, the scales. Put a netted wig cap right over your face and apply makeup in the cutouts, and then when you take it off, it will look like you have scales. I started with the Inglot Pure Pigment eyeshadow in light blue, and then I added a light pink tone and some Violet Voss Golden Fairy on top. Once I had done this all over my face, I took the net off very carefully, and my face had scales on it. Lip time, I used Cocoa K again, liner first and then the matte gloss. And I made this lip a little bit more glittery by putting Revlon's Eye Art glitter onto the lips. As a last minute decision, I dabbed the light blue Inglot Shimmering Shadow on top of that. I gemmed it up with some rhinestones, added my false lashes, lined my eyes with the NYX white eye pencil, and outlined around the white with some pink shadow. At the very end, I added a pink wig with long, flowy hair. This look can actually be used for more than just a mermaid. Honestly, I felt like I looked like a cupcake too. 5 days later, and I'm so happy with how all of my makeup looks turned out. I have never worn so much makeup in my entire life. But at the end of each look, I was so proud of how it came out. And now I'm so excited for Halloween. Hey YouTube! Thanks for watching 5 days of Halloween makeup. Comment below and let us know what you're going to be for Halloween this year. And in the meantime, click here to watch another video, here to subscribe, and right here for my personal YouTube channel.